Hi, I'm Andrea with Desert Sky Poodles. I would like to tell you a little bit about temperament testing for puppies and why we do it and how that is a value for puppy buyers to be able to pick the perfect puppy for their home. The official name of the temperament test is called the Volhard Puppy Aptitude Test. It's a well-known temperament evaluation system that actually was started way back in the 1970s. It was developed after a lot of studies and testing happened with dogs that were trained as guide dogs. So eventually it was formalized and known as the Volhard Puppy Aptitude Test. The test is valuable because it helps match the right puppy to the right home or family and situation. Just like siblings in a family have different personalities and baseline temperament, so do puppies in a litter. So doing a temperament test is helpful to know that baseline temperament and personality so that we can match the best puppy to each home. An important thing to know about the test is that it's not a pass or fail type system. It's something that gives us knowledge. So temperament testing has a twofold purpose for me as a breeder. One is to understand the baseline temperament of each puppy, to know which ones are more outgoing, which ones are more introverted, or maybe like a quieter lifestyle. But it also gives us some baseline information so that when I pass this puppy on to you as the puppy buyer, that I can send you with valuable information to know the best type of training to do for this puppy. Because obviously it's only 7 to 8 weeks old when we do the test. You're taking it home as a puppy, and that gives you some valuable information to know how to shape and train this puppy. Temperament testing is done at 49 days of age or 7 weeks. The reason that this is the window of time that we like to do temperament testing is because experts believe that this is the time that their brain is neurologically mature, but also a point that they aren't influenced by experiences and training. So they believe that this window of time is the best one to see the clearest picture of the puppy's innate temperament. There's a couple important factors that we use to set up a temperament test situation. The first one is that the test is located in a place that the puppy has never been. So not a familiar place like the puppy play area that they've been in. We're going to take them to a new place. And the tester is also going to be a new person to them, not somebody that has worked a lot with them, and especially not me as the breeder who's known them since day one and watched and worked with them. If I were to do the test, I would have an obvious bias towards each puppy as I've watched them grow. So the test takes place in a new place with a new person. So the full test is divided into 10 different segments. Each one is setting up a scenario that we're going to observe the puppy to see what it does. So test number 1 is to measure social attraction. This evaluates how willingly a puppy approaches a stranger and seeks human interaction. So in this test, the evaluator is the puppy's going to be placed in this location with the stranger, meaning the tester, and we're going to just watch the puppy to see what it does. Is it going to go up to the person? The tester can kneel down. It can gently encourage the puppy. Sometimes that's needed, and sometimes the puppy is more than willing to go to the person without any encouragement. So a puppy that quickly goes to the tester and is enthusiastic is going to show confidence and a strong people orientation. A puppy that's a little hesitant or avoidant or waits a little bit to approach the tester might indicate that one that has a little bit lower sociability. It might be a little bit timid or be more independent. Sometimes dogs are independent, meaning they don't thrive as much on human attention. That's not something I see a lot in standard poodles and in my lines, but in other breeds, that is something that we might see. So what this is telling you as far as a future with a puppy is how easily is the puppy going to bond with new people and adapt to training and its new family life. So test number 2 is called following. Right after test 1, which is when the tester greets the puppy to see if how it responds to a greeting from a new person, they're simply just going to stand up and walk away and see how the puppy responds. So the puppy could follow them and stay with them, or it could want to go somewhere else and pay attention to something else. So following is a portion of the test that helps us evaluate a puppy's willingness to stay connected with a person. So we're observing whether it follows the tester as they walk away. A puppy that follows readily and stays close often shows a strong social engagement, a good attention span, a cooperative nature. All those are traits that make training easier with a puppy as they grow into adulthood. So a puppy that follows with but maybe hesitation or doesn't follow at all might indicate a puppy that's a little bit more independent, a puppy that's more timid, or less people oriented. This helps us estimate how well a puppy naturally bonds with humans, how motivated it is to work with a person, and how that might affect future training. So test number 3 is called restraint. In this portion of the test, we're going to take the puppy and gently roll them over onto its back and hold them there for about 30 seconds. So what the tester is looking for is to see how the puppy responds to being in this position. So they might just relax there on their back, and that indicates a puppy that's really compliant, more easygoing. What also might happen is the puppy might struggle and then relax and then struggle and then relax. This indicates a puppy that maybe has a little bit more energy. They're compliant, which is the relaxing part, but they also don't necessarily want to be on their back. They want to be up and going. So a puppy with a little more energy, but it's still really easy to work with. Indicates a puppy that maybe has a little bit more energy. They're compliant, which is the relaxing part, but they also don't necessarily want to be on their back. They want to be up and going. So a puppy with a little more energy, but it's still really easy to work with. Indicates a puppy that maybe. So test number 4 is called social dominance. This evaluates how a puppy responds after being gently praised and stroked by the tester following the restraint test, which was test number 3. So what the tester is going to do is they're going to kneel beside the puppy and pet the puppy to see how the puppy accepts this type of interaction. We're going to watch for signs to see, is it going to climb on the tester? Is it going to avoid contact? Is it going to react submissively, etc.? So a puppy that responds by approaching the tester, licking them, staying close to them, shows a friendly and people-oriented puppy, one that's socially confident. Another way that a puppy might react is to roll over and avoid that eye contact and interaction. That might indicate a more submissive or sensitive puppy. We also might see a puppy resist the attention and want to distance itself and get, meaning it has more independent temperament or lower social engagement. So this test helps us estimate how a puppy handles human leadership and social interaction and its tendency towards dominant or a balanced behavior. Test number 5 is called elevation dominance. So what the tester is going to do is gently lift the puppy off the ground and hold it in midair, so in a position where it doesn't have any physical control. So the tester is going to observe the puppy to see how it responds. Is it going to be calm? Is it going to struggle briefly, or is it going to fight intensely? So a puppy that stays relaxed typically has a more easygoing and compliant temperament. One that squirms and settles might be energetic, but still adaptable. A strong resistance can suggest a puppy that needs a more confident, experienced handler, one that, because the puppy is more independent and strong-willed. So this helps us estimate how the puppy tolerates stress. As far as situations, think about nail trims, think about grooming, think about taking the puppy to the vet. So those are all situations where the dog or puppy is going to experience some sort of physical manipulation. Nail trims. You're going to pick up the puppy and hold its paw in a place that you need to safely do a nail trim. So how is the puppy going to respond for things like that? So overall manageability. Test number 6 is retrieving, and it is just that. What the tester is going to do is take a crumpled up piece of paper and get the attention of the puppy, hold it in front of its face, move it around a little bit so it's paying attention, and then toss that piece of paper to see if the puppy follows it and brings it back. So what retrieving is believed to indicate is the amount of desire that a puppy has to engage with people, to stay focused with them, and to work cooperatively. So these are all traits that help in trainability and bonding with humans. So puppies that show only mild interest or don't retrieve the paper might be more independent or less motivated by human interaction, or are just not driven by object play. So different dogs have different drives as far as if they're interested in objects like toys or balls. So that can range from high to low. So this helps estimate the puppy's willingness to interact, its motivation to please, and its potential suitability for different roles that you are wanting this puppy to play in a family, in a companionship, or in service work. Test 7 is touch sensitivity. So in this simulation, the tester is going to take the puppy in their hands, and they're going to start squeezing and applying pressure between the puppy's toes. They're going to start counting and see how many seconds until the puppy pulls away and doesn't want that pressure on their toes. So what this is doing is observing the sensitivity of the puppy to touch. So a puppy that pulls away quickly is sensitive to touch. That higher sensitivity might indicate a puppy that will do well and respond quickly to pressure as far as different training types. Also one that you'd want to be careful around children because they tend to touch more than adults and differently than adults. A puppy that has a high touch tolerance, meaning it doesn't pull away quickly, is a dog that does great around children. It's also a puppy that handles grooming and other handling really well, a physical guidance. So this is something that really helps us know, especially families with children. We want to make sure we match the right puppy for them, but also something that gives us some guidance, especially for future grooming. If we have a touch sensitive puppy, then I'm going to help you with a couple of activities that you can do with that puppy early to help them be comfortable and compliant for nail trims and grooming and things like that. Test 8 is called sound sensitivity. What we're going to do in this portion of the test is we're going to make a loud and unusual noise to determine how sensitive the puppy is to sounds. So typically we'll take a pan and a spoon and we'll make a couple sharp noises and then set the pan down. We're watching the puppy. We're looking at two things. One of them is their startle and level of startle, and the other is how they recover. So a startle would be something like stopping, freezing. A large startle would be like turning and running away from a sound. So recovery is when if they turned away, is when they turn back. So when they're able to process, okay, that was a sound, I'm curious what it was, and they turn back to look at where the sound was and even go investigate the pan and get closer to it. So we're looking at those two things. We're not creating puppy robots that shouldn't respond to sounds. We want to look to see what type of emotional resilience they have, that when something startles them, how are they going to respond and recover from that experience. Test 9 is called sight sensitivity. In this portion of the test, we're going to take a towel or some sort of cloth or object, and we're going to drag it across the floor with a string. So again, we're focusing on sight sensitivity. So how is the dog going to respond when they see something? So we're going to observe whether the puppy startles, does it chase, does it avoid the object, does it investigate, etc. So a puppy that shows curiosity and investigates something demonstrates confidence and adaptability. One that startles or withdraws might be more visually sensitive or overwhelmed. A lot of puppies, especially mine, are going to eagerly chase the object and have the desire to follow it and to play with it. So this indicates a higher prey drive, which might indicate interest in animals or backyard chickens if you have them. But also a chase drive is important. Think about how we play with our dogs. Do we like to play fetch? Do you like to toss? Do you like to tug and play with your dog? That's actually a great way to do positive reinforcement training. You don't always have to do treats. Sometimes you can use toys. But not every dog has a drive for that, and it's not going to be a reward for every kind of dog. So in this, we're looking for what kind of drive they have for things that they can see, motion in the environment. So a situation would be with a toy, but it also could include children, bikes passing, or other visual changes in the dog's environment. The last test is called stability. So this is measuring how a puppy reacts to a sudden, unusual, or unfamiliar visual stimulus. So there's sound in this one, and there's something visual. Kind of building off of what we've already done, and I'll just say one more time, recovery is very important in this one. So what we're going to do is we usually use an umbrella, and we're going to open up the umbrella a few feet away from the puppy. Sometimes you'll see the tester walking around trying to get away from the puppy so that there's enough distance between the puppy and the umbrella. But once the umbrella opens, we're going to watch the puppy to see if they startle and how much they startle, and then how they recover. The puppy startles, they might even cry, they might run away. But if they turn around and start walking towards the umbrella, sometimes they'll even play with the umbrella. I've even seen puppies jump in it. So all of that helps us measure the degree of their stability, their ability to process something startling, to use their brain, to engage their neurological system, to process something unusual that just happened to them, to see how they respond. So this is the end of the formal puppy aptitude test. I just wanted to kind of pull it all together. As you've been watching this, you've probably kind of taken mental notes in your head of what you would consider like the perfect or the best response for each of these tests. I do believe in this test. I do think it does tell us something about puppies, but we also want to remember as we're observing this that these are living animals that are shaped by their environments each day, and that some things can change with work. So don't look at it as an absolute. We're not making a diagnosis for life on any of these puppies. And we're also willing to throw out high and low scores. So if there was an extreme response in one area, but none of the other areas, we can round that out and average it. So remember that no puppy is going to have a quote unquote perfect test. Sometimes they'll respond differently in a test, and the very next day they would respond differently, because this is just 5 to 10 minutes in time. It does give us a valuable look at them. But remember that there's two things we're looking at. One is matching to the right home, but two, it's also helping us develop kind of a customized training and socialization plan for this puppy. It's only 7 weeks old at this time, and while a lot has happened and I've done my best to raise the puppies the best I know how, there's a lot ahead as far as shaping these dogs, training them into being the dogs that you dream for your homes and your lifestyles. So we're going to take those two things and put them together and realize that we're gaining good information about a puppy, but we're also looking ahead at what's the best way to continue raising this dog so that it can become the best that it can be. The very last thing I want to share with you is just simply to also follow your heart. Take all of the information that I've shared with you as far as the temperament testing and everything else, but also listen to your heart, because in selecting your future dog, I know that your heart is going to speak as well, and that I do value that. In most cases, there's more than one puppy in a litter that will fit a lifestyle. That's one benefit of getting a puppy and raising it, is that they are typically fairly adaptable, that they can fit into your home. So we don't want to ignore anything we've seen, but we also do give our heart some value in knowing that there's going to be something that's going to draw us to each puppy. And sometimes it might be a color or a gender that we weren't planning on, but if we listen to our heart, usually we'll end up with the best match. So good luck in selecting your puppy, and thank you for trusting me in raising your future dog.